We are on this pursuit right now, started in Santa Ana in Orange County about 30 minutes ago. This vehicle, an alleged stolen vehicle. Santa Ana PD spotted this vehicle, initiated a traffic stop. The vehicle failed to yield from what we understand, went on a pursuit on the 405 freeway throughout Orange County, at times traveling almost 90 miles per hour. We went on the 405 northbound, exited the freeway, went southbound 405 through the Costa Mesa area, got back on the freeway to the northbound 405 up through the Seal Beach area, and now we find it on the 605 coming up through Los Alamitos. News Chopper 4 Alpha over this pursuit. You can see that silver vehicle being pursued by CHP. They have taken over the pursuit. Santa Ana PD units are still on scene right now, assisting, backing up the CHP, going about 70 miles per hour right now, 605 freeway northbound, just passing Catella. From what we understand, we heard that a passenger in this vehicle bailed out during the pursuit. Not too sure how many other individuals besides the driver in this vehicle. Again, an alleged stolen vehicle, 605 northbound through the Los Alamitos area, coming up on the 91 freeway here shortly. We are going into the Cerritos area, northbound 605. If we come up here toward the 91, that's going to take us to Cerritos. You've got Long Beach Airport to the left of the driver, and you've got Hawaiian Gardens to the right side of the driver. That's Hawaiian Gardens there on the top of your screen. You can see CHP following this vehicle. Now, you're talking about this silver vehicle. Look at those windows. They are tinted. That makes an issue for law enforcement officers. They cannot see the actions of what the driver is doing. Now, we do have Huntington Beach Police helicopter. I believe they are still on scene. Earlier, they were calling down to units below saying it appears the driver is throwing something out of the vehicle. They thought it was paper, perhaps money. At one point, they said the driver was just eating. So the body language of the driver, he or she appears to be calm right now, just not complying with officers to pull over. 605 freeway northbound, coming up on South Street here in the Cerritos area. Yes, and that can be a challenge for officers here. The 605 freeway northbound as you come up on the 91 freeway here. 605. Sorry, guys, got a distraction up here. 605 freeway northbound, approaching the 91. We do not know how many other people are in that vehicle. Because of those tinted windows, that creates an issue. You can see how dark those tinted windows are. It looks like paper plates. So really, that's perhaps a new vehicle right now. CHP is still trying to get this vehicle to pull over. Speeds right now showing about 72 miles per hour here north on the 605. Yeah, sometime after 10 o'clock, CHP, we don't know the full, or Santa Ana PD, we knew they were the primary agency attempting to pull this vehicle over. The initial reports is this vehicle is an alleged stolen vehicle. So Santa Ana PD, they were in pursuit for quite some time. Once it got on the freeway, really that's the CHP jurisdiction. CHP knows these freeways like the back of their hand, so that's why they will hand it off to the CHP. They are primary, but it doesn't mean Santa Ana PD is out of it. Not too sure. That all depends with the watch commander, whether they feel compelled to continue following this vehicle. Last I heard, a couple of units from Santa Ana PD were still following this vehicle, but they have since let CHP take over. Northbound 605 freeway, number 1 lane. We're in light traffic here, approaching the 91, and we're doing about 80 miles per hour here north on the 605 freeway. We have multiple units there. I'm going to show you here without getting too far. There's 1, 2, most likely 3, and you may see a few others behind. That could be Santa Ana PD. Usually you'll have at least 3 who are engaged in the pursuit. The first one is your primary unit. The second one over there, that is your secondary unit. And usually the third one is the supervisor. That's not always the case, but most likely that's how they do it. They got the primary, the secondary, and the supervisor. They will most likely have other units. This is the California Highway Patrol from other jurisdictions. We're coming up into the Santa Fe Springs area. So in fact, we just passed somebody over to the right shoulder. There was a unit getting ready to take position. So as they come out of the Westminster area, these are CHP units out of the Westminster Division. They're going to hand it over to units in the Santa Fe Springs area. So other CHP units are going to be taking it over. So we're going to see an ample amount of CHP, law enforcement, as well as Santa Ana PD. They may still be on this right now. 605 freeway northbound, just passing the 91 freeway. Speeds right now topping about 82 miles per hour. Yeah, and check this out. My pilot, Aldo Bentavea, is just telling me that there's a lot of traffic coming up ahead on the 605 freeway northbound. I'm zooming in tight so you can see the driver. You can see the hands kind of gesturing around a little. So it appears we're going to have a lot of traffic. That is going to change the circumstances of this pursuit. Once this driver gets beyond the 105 freeway, that's where we're going to see a little more dangerous situation. Traffic's at a full stop there. We may have an accident or Caltrans or something of that nature, but let me pull out right now. You can start seeing traffic's going to be slowing down here within a quarter of a mile, so this is where things could get dangerous. Drivers may start feeling the pressure here in the pursuit, rather exiting quickly or making erratic moves to evade law enforcement officers, but we're on the northbound 605, just passing that 105 freeway. Yeah, and you can see that erratic maneuver there, going from the left lane quickly to the right lane. And here we go. Traffic starting to slow down. This is what we were talking about. They start feeling the pressure. They start making these erratic movements here. CHP is still behind, but you can see how he's weaving in and out of traffic using the right shoulder. Always a very dangerous situation. Cars can be broken down along the right shoulder. People could be off to the right shoulder there as well with their vehicle, and that creates such a dangerous situation. 605 freeway northbound. Look at that white vehicle there, how quickly that car had to get out of the way. So that's what we're talking about. Now the circumstances are changing here, starting to get a little more dangerous, driving along the right shoulder. Officers are going to consider whether or not they want to put this vehicle in a tracking mode. They maybe want to disengage and put units further behind so this person does not see the police officer in his or her rear view mirror. Hopefully by doing that, that'll slow this driver down, but we're coming up on a transition right now. Most likely this is the 5 freeway. We'll let you know if this person goes north or southbound. Looks like it's Florence Avenue here. Actually, you can take Florence Avenue or exit the freeway. We are taking Florence Avenue, coming up on red light. Let's see what this driver does. Yep, right there. And you can see, again, the pressure. The driver starts feeling the pressure right now. This is just adjacent to the 5 freeway. This is Studebaker Road, northbound Studebaker Road, paralleling the 5 freeway, coming up on a red light. And you can see it slows down, makes that right turn onto Florence Avenue. CHP closely behind. The good news, being on the surface streets right now, CHP hopefully could bring this to an end and pit this vehicle. But right now, vehicle is still going a little too fast eastbound on Florence Avenue from Studebaker. We're in an industrial area. No, you are correct. Industrial area. This is Florence Avenue here. We're coming into the Norwalk area, wrong side of the road, pushing that car there off to the right shoulder. So you can see speeds are starting to pick up. 60 miles an hour. This is uncalled for. 60 miles an hour on residential streets. Now we're coming out of the industrial area, planted in the Norwalk area, eastbound on Studebaker or Florence Avenue. Eastbound Florence Avenue, and you can see residential area. CHP is still closely behind. Vehicles still kind of traveling a little too fast, coming up on the train tracks here, and we're continuing eastbound. We will be in the Norwalk area here shortly. Yeah, those CHP officers are highly trained. They do a lot of this pursuit driving training constantly. They're able to maintain their safe distance from the driver, yet not too far, so they still have visual. And if they do get out of place and they're a little too far for officers to have visual from the ground, they've got the police helicopter above relaying the information down. Right now, police helicopter relaying information coming up on a green light. He's letting them know if it's a red light, if it's a green light, whether or not there's cross traffic. Officer safety, number one concern. Also, public safety, number one concern. That's another thing that's of consideration right now. How dangerous is this pursuit going to get? Is the supervisor going to tell those units down below, let's go into a tracking mode right now? They don't see that necessary. 54 miles per hour back into a residential area. If you picture this scene right here, the Santa Ana Freeway is to the left of the driver, to the right. In fact, we are well north of the Santa Ana Freeway. Let me get you this intersection. That's Bloomfield and Florence. Bloomfield and Florence. So actually now we're headed more towards the Fullerton area. We are north of the 5 freeway and east of the 605. Turning it around. Yeah, he just came up on a red light there, Florence Avenue and Shoemaker. Florence Avenue, Shoemaker ran the red light, trying to find exactly what agency. I think it's, there we go, it just locked it in, Santa Fe Springs. He might go under News Chopper 4, but we're repositioning as he made his move. We are now northwestbound on Shoemaker from Florence. We're going to get a good visual of this driver. Let me just push this in right now, and you can see one person in that vehicle. So far, just one person in the front seat, rather. Look at those dark tinted windows. Even we cannot tell how many people are in that vehicle, and that becomes an officer safety issue. Abruptly coming to a stop here. This is the intersection of Telegraph and Shoemaker. Telegraph and Shoemaker, and you can see all those units still closely behind this vehicle. I think we're probably, we're doing so many turns in here, I'm getting turned around. I think we're going southwestbound. That is Telegraph Road. Southwestbound now through an industrial area. I'm looking out the windshield. We're headed toward the 5 Santa Ana Freeway. So we're headed towards the 605 area. Major road is Telegraph Road. Pilot's telling me traffic stopped up ahead. I'm going to pull out, show it to you. Here's some slow traffic right here. So this is where the pressure is on. This is when the drivers start making some erratic maneuvers. You can see the driver slowly stopping, but here he goes. Last time he went up the center divider onto the wrong side of the road. Same thing right now. Officers close behind, going into a driveway. This may actually be an opportunity where we can bring this pursuit to an end if there's not an exit. Whoa, he's blocked in right over there. CHP just slammed that vehicle. This is good, Aldo. This is perfect right here. Look at them. They're going to ram that vehicle, just splicing him right there, trying to stop him. Those CHP officers are doing everything they can to bring this vehicle to upend here. Yeah, that's right. Now it's on right now. We're going to have a mic issue here, guys, so I'm just going to have to talk a little louder. But right now, in this situation, you can see how close the CHP officers are traveling next to this vehicle, and this driver is just doing everything he can to evade CHP, but the CHP was doing a tremendous job trying to get that driver, trying to get that pursuit to an end, but unfortunately that did not work. We're still on Telegraph Road, heading toward the 605 freeway. He's going to hit him. Yeah, a little more aggressive right now because that vehicle rammed a couple of CHP units. So because of that, now this vehicle is most likely they're going to put it. Look, he's going to pit him. He's trying to pit him. Most likely an additional charge, assault with a deadly weapon, considering he rammed a couple of CHP units. So now they're taking this a little more serious. This driver's already demonstrated that he or she will do what's necessary to evade law enforcement officers. Public safety, #1 concern right now. So that's going to be an issue where they want to bring this to an end. Just crossing over the 605 freeway along Telegraph Road, going westbound Telegraph Road, coming into the Whittier, Downey, Santa Fe Springs area. Vehicle traveling at about 77 miles per hour on surface streets. You can see speeds are increasing. California Highway Patrol still trying to get this vehicle to yield at times. They tried to bring it to an end about 5 minutes ago, and that vehicle rammed several CHP units. So right now, these officers want to bring this pursuit to a quick, safe end. Although stand out, please. He is, and that was Lakewood Boulevard that he just turned on right now. CHP unit, you see that unit right there? He's trying to get into his rear corner there. He wants to engage and initiate a pit maneuver. We're just crossing over the 5 freeway right there. So that CHP unit, he's on the tail of this vehicle. When that vehicle makes a turn, that is the precise key moment they want to do a pit maneuver. So that's what this officer is going to try to do. Coming up on the intersection here, major intersection, got a red light, so you can see cutting through a parking lot right now. That CHP officer, he's really close, and he's going to try to bump that vehicle and bring it to an end right there. Pit that vehicle. That was a perfect opportunity, and you can see that CHP officer is doing everything they can to get in that right position in order to pit this vehicle. He's going to the left, moving to the right, going through a school zone right now, and here he goes, squeezing through that vehicle, running through a stop sign. We are in a school zone right now. Most likely this pursuit is going to come to an end here very shortly. It is. We're on Galan Road here in the Downey area, approaching a red light here, and you can see he's making that right turn. I believe that is Paramount Boulevard, going on Paramount Boulevard northbound. Let us get us back into picture there. Northbound Paramount Boulevard going back toward the 5 freeway. And you know what, folks? He may be getting on the 5 freeway. This is the entrance to go south on the 5. Yeah, in fact, you can see the right window there, the passenger window is down, and I'm just listening right now, sorry for that picture, I'm just listening to the CHP. They're telling units to back out. So what that means is they want to put this in a tracking mode right now. Most likely that's what they might be doing. That was called out on surface streets. Now that they're back on the freeway, maybe a little different, but we're on the southbound side of the freeway through the Downey, Santa Fe Springs area. Our next major freeway is going to be the 605, and let's see what this Yeah, yeah, Michelle, definitely. That vehicle sustained some damage when those officers tried to bring that pursuit to an end. And look at that. That is not a lane. That is a right shoulder. Very dangerous. Fortunately, no vehicles. Now, that CHP officer earlier was told to back off. He's getting close back up to that vehicle. He or she may feel the necessity to try to bring this pursuit to an end. We always say public safety is number one concern. They want to bring this pursuit to an end because this driver has already demonstrated that he or she will do what's necessary to get away and to evade from officers. So it's a very dangerous pursuit right now. Look at that bumper hanging off on the right side, just adding to more of this pursuit. South 5 just passing over the 605. We're going about 85 miles per hour. We just passed over the 605 freeway, Michael. There we go, crossing over. There's your 605, continuing south on the 5 freeway, going through the construction zone through the Norwalk area. Fortunately, there's no slow traffic, and the reason why I say fortunately is when we start seeing heavy traffic or traffic of that nature, drivers start driving a little more erratically, creating dangerous situations. Unfortunately, this pursuit all by itself has turned to be somewhat dangerous. We're seeing speeds right now at about 82 miles per hour. Oh, right there, guys. This is not the freeway. This is a construction zone right now. So he's going to get trapped here most likely, or he's going to turn around and go into the northbound lanes of the 5 freeway. So again, very dangerous situation. That was not the freeway itself. That was through the construction zone. So right now, this driver is demonstrating that they're going to do whatever they can. They are disregarding anybody else on the roadway except for this driver. Their main concern is getting away from law enforcement. They're creating more of a hazard right now. So even more reason why this pursuit hopefully comes to an end here shortly. North on the 5 freeway now heading back toward the 605. And again, that was a very dangerous maneuver. Fortunately, we did not see any Caltrans workers working in that construction zone. We're on the 5 northbound, just shy of the 605. Speeds right now at about 55 miles per hour. You are correct. On to the 605. Let's see if this driver decides to go northbound or southbound. Michael, as you said earlier, sometimes they go into areas that they are familiar with. If he goes southbound, that may be indicative of it. He is going south on the 605 freeway. Remember, this pursuit started in Orange County. Santa Ana PD tried to pull this vehicle over, an alleged stolen vehicle. Now we're on the transition to the 605 southbound. Look at this. This guy might try to actually pit him right here. Look at that shot there, trying to get into that precise position to perform a pit maneuver. Unfortunately, that CHP officer, as much as they are trying, just cannot get that right moment. There are, and that's the problem about being the Monday morning quarterback. We all want to know, why can't you do it right now? And we're watching it, but they're just waiting for the right moment. This officer there is highly trained. He's getting right up into that rear vehicle, looking at his circumstances, looking at the surroundings, making sure that nobody else is in danger. He's following close behind, and look how that driver just goes in and out, swerving in and out of traffic lanes. No regards for anybody else. This driver's in the carpool lane right now. 605 southbound. We're through the Downey Santa Fe Springs area. Next major freeway is going to be the 105. Well, I'm listening to CHP right now. They're coordinating. They're getting officers back into position here. We've got a primary, secondary unit. Look at that rear bumper. Part of it just flew off the freeway just a few moments ago, or flew off the vehicle onto the freeway. 605 freeway southbound, just crossing over from the number 1 to the carpool lane, approaching this 105. We should be approaching the 105 if not already. In fact, here's the transition. Thank you, Aldo, to the 105 freeway. That's the transition right there. You'll see it crossing. And look how that CHP officer now little bit of distance, but we still see this pursuit here. 605 freeway southbound, now coming toward North Long Beach, Cerritos area. We'll be in your area here shortly. No, they do not want to get caught. In fact, I was zooming in earlier. It looks like a male driver who appears to either be talking or texting on a mobile device. So that's what it appears to be. They're down below on some type of cell phone. 605 southbound passing Rosecrans, approaching the 91 freeway. CHP officers still close behind. Speeds right now about 83 miles per hour, 83 miles per hour south 605. 91 freeway is going to be the next option, but considering this driver, he is in the carpool lane, he's going to miss that transition for the 91 freeway. Unless, well, look at that, making an abrupt maneuver, going to the transition to the 91, a very last moment there, making this choice here to go on to the 91. Well, I can tell you with almost certainty that that driver, I think we made the transition to the 91 westbound. We're 91 westbound. I can be almost certain that that driver was, the passenger was already taken into custody by other law enforcement units. I do not have confirmation, but most likely they may have that driver in custody and they're getting information, and I keep saying driver, the passenger. They got the passenger most likely in custody. If that is the case, they will be talking to that passenger, finding out who this person is. They'll try to get all this relevant information, and you never know, CHP may be trying to contact that driver via their cell phone and talking to them and saying, what's the problem? Why don't you slow down, pull over? What can we do to bring the situation to a safe end? We're coming up on an exit here. This might be Bellflower exit off the 91 freeway. I'll give you the exact exit pulling out, let you see what traffic looks like as we come to the off-ramp. Yes. Going back on. Exited Bellflower. We're going to reposition News Chopper 4 so it doesn't get right under us. But look at that, Bellflower right there going on the wrong side of the road. Bellflower, Artesia Boulevard. Now he's turning westbound on Artesia Boulevard. Fortunately, he's on the right side of the road, but he exited the freeway. 91 freeway is just to the right of that driver. We're going into the Lakewood area, North Long Beach area. Again, there's CHP close behind. They want to bring this pursuit to an end as we come up on a green light, going through that intersection. Kind of got a little air right there, and look at that CHP officer. That officer is determined to perform a pit maneuver. They want to bring this pursuit to an end, but they're only going to execute that when they can safely do so. Yeah, they're trying. That driver knows the trick. He knows what they're doing. Evading right there. It's another perfect position. Getting back onto the freeway. He's trying to make contact. There we go. Perfect moment. Got it. Perfect position right here, Aldo. You can see the precision of that pit maneuver. Driver, the vehicle disabled right now. Doesn't have time to start that vehicle. Hopefully that's the case right now. We're going to see other officers swarm this vehicle. Where are those CHP units? Those secondary units are right over there. So vehicle's disabled right now. He's not able to start that vehicle. Sometimes that happens with these pit maneuvers. So the good news, this pursuit has come to an end. I'll get you, I think this is the Clark on-ramp to the 91 freeway. Now all we are waiting for is this driver to come out of the vehicle. I'm going to be very careful to make sure, okay, good, I see his hands. Once I see the driver's hands, I feel comfortable zooming in so we can see what this driver is doing. Still a little cautious, so I'm going to pull back a little until I see this, until this person comply with officers. That is definitely the case right now. The driver is refusing to comply to officers. He rolled his window back up, window rolling back down right now. Let me just say, he seems a little just agitated, talking to officers, not too sure what's going on, moving around a lot. That's what officers are concerned about, the fact that the driver is being so erratic and not complying with their instructions. But the driver just seems to be erratic, not complying with directions. And let's see what this driver does. Yeah, let me give you right now, see how that looks right now. His hands, I see is one of his hands on the steering wheel, both his hands right there. That's what officers are looking at. They're also talking to the police helicopter, who's relaying some of that information as to exactly what that driver is doing. Almost appears he may be smoking a cigarette or something, figuring this may be the last one for a little while. Earlier, he was on the cell phone. Yeah, there it is. Well, I think it's a little more than a cigarette right there. But regardless, this driver is doing that right now, realizing it's just a matter of time. Oh, well, that's a little, yeah, we know what that driver's doing. So, yeah, so he's smoking a pipe right now, and that's fine. Let him do it because it's just a few more moments. Give him what he needs. Give him the time. He's not going anywhere. He is going to be taken into custody here shortly. And we saw a pursuit not too long ago that our own Gil Levis was covering where the driver was not complying, and they sent the canine in. So you know what? That can be an option here where they can get a canine officer to end this peacefully. Obviously, they don't want to do that. They're giving this driver demands right now to get out. Let's see if there's a canine right there. Usually it says canine on a vehicle, and there it is, folks. That's your canine vehicle right there. You have a canine dog, most likely to the right. There's probably that's the officer who has the canine. So they're giving him instructions to get out of the vehicle. He's obviously being defiant, yelling back to officers. This guy's not asking for a peaceful ending. He's going to get apprehended one way or another, and it doesn't look like it's going to go easy. That is true. The driver can always get out of the other side. But another thing to take into consideration, the driver definitely probably under the influence of some type of controlled substance. So he's not thinking clearly right now. That's something else that officers are considering right now. Regardless, he is aware of what he is doing. He's aware of the situation. Every now and then he's putting up his hand, showing officers that he's not doing anything. Still very cautious. They're not going to take any chances. This driver does appear to be smoking a substance out of a pipe. taking his time, not complying with officers, but it's only a matter of time before this comes to an end. You can see him yelling, gesturing at officers. They're going to end this. They can either bring that K9 vehicle in or swarm that vehicle, although I don't think they would do that right now. Still no confirmation if this person has weapons. Well, Aldo, give me some air, please. Correct, and that vehicle did sustain some serious damage. And look at that K9 officer. That K9 dog is trained, ready to go. They can jump into the vehicle if a window is open. That's probably still enough for that dog to get inside. Here we go, driver's opening his door. His hands are up, so I'm gonna maintain a close shot. As long as we see both of his hands, he seems to be complying. He has something in his, he has the keys in his hands, indicating the vehicle is immobile, won't be able to drive anywhere else, but he's still not complying. Officers want him to most likely drop those keys. They don't want the person to have anything in their hands. And if this guy does not comply to the officer's rules, they will release that dog on him to bring him into custody. So slowly complying, kind of taking his time, still being a little defiant, but fortunately we see this individual coming out with his hands up in the air, a little timid, but yeah, but you know what, he's probably not thinking straightly. He's most likely under the influence of a controlled substance, so he's not thinking too clearly. But right now his body language doesn't appear to be violent or threatening to officers. Slowly getting on his knees, still very timid, but officers are not going to be fooled. Going into your pockets like that, not the smartest thing. Right, and what they want is they don't want him to get on the ground as of yet. I'm no law enforcement officer, but I do know that they want him to get away from the vehicle because they still have to clear that vehicle. They want to make sure nobody else is there. But this guy is proned out, hands behind his back. You see how his feet are crossed? He's familiar with this game. He's been around this game before, so he knows the procedures. He knows what to do. Officers are going to cautiously approach that vehicle if he does not come toward them, and that's what they want. They want him to come toward the officers, come toward the sound of our voice. They usually have them face away from officers as they slowly approach the suspect or the vehicle. Now the problem here is they'd have to go out and get that suspect. They don't want to do that because it puts officers in a vulnerable position. They don't know if anybody else is in that vehicle. They always assume that somebody else is hiding there. They always assume that the suspect is armed. Until they can de-escalate the situation, put that person in handcuffs and clear that vehicle. You see how they're hiding behind the shield? That is the reason why. They don't know if anybody else is there. These officers are approaching right here. Look at that K9 vehicle, taking the suspect into custody, but they still have that gun drawn. Look at that K9 officer, still has his gun drawn to the vehicle. Once they clear the vehicle, they're going to clear the scene. Running. Oh, this is gonna be cool.
To watch more heart-stopping car chases happening across Southern California, subscribe here. Thanks for watching. The chase is on.